Hey everybody, it's Andrew Martin coming to you with a new video. This is your March energy forecast for 2017. I am entitling this one the Transformation Template. February was a pressure cooker, and after the eclipse at the end of February, the pressure cooker was released, and all of a sudden we're finding ourselves emerging in a new experience that is very, very physical. Our abilities are coming online, our gifts, our knowings, our intuition, just carrying this new sense of profound, I don't know, it feels like this alignment. It feels like this new confidence. It feels like just a knowing of who we are and what we came here to do. It has really begun to assert itself physically as our bodies are shifting. The vessel is shifting, the light body is expanding, and we are seeing the traditional 7 chakra system collapse, and we're seeing the emergence of this new chakra system. I'm going to talk about all of this and more in the video coming up for March 2017. First, a couple of quick announcements. I'm going to keep this short. The Soul Expansion series for March, the Transformation Template, March 5th, March 12th, and 19th. It is a 3-part series this month because I'm going to be moving at the end of the month, so I'm going to be in flux and I'm not exactly sure where I will be, so it's only 3 sessions this month. This is amazing. The February session, the 4-part series, was incredible. As always, it is on Sunday, so March 5th, 12th, and 19th from 12 to 2 West Coast time. You get an MP3 recording of the session, which will allow you to re-immerse yourself in the experience and the energy work if you desire. The community and the family that has started to be created around these soul expansion calls is incredible. The energy field that we call in as a collective with our intention to come together and shift is so powerful and so profound, and the feedback that I've been getting from people is remarkable. So I really am encouraging you to allow yourself to participate in these calls. Even if you can't make it for all 3, you can still sign up for all 3 and you'll receive the MP3s of all 3 calls. Even if you're not able to make them because you work or you're on the other side of the world and the time just doesn't work for you, you still receive the benefit of the calls through the MP3. As always, I'm going to do a package deal. When you buy all 3 sessions, it's going to be a reduced rate. You can buy a singular session, but I'm really finding that these series are very progressive, and each call builds on the next one and the next one and the next one. So they're really profound, and I just feel like a singular session doesn't give you the full effect that you would receive from all 3. So go to my website, thelightones.com, click on the events tab, and you'll find all the information to sign up for the Transformation Template for the March Soul Expansion calls. Another quick announcement: through the energy work that I've been doing and the profound shifts that people have been experiencing from this expansion of the light body and the shifting of the energy template, I have created a new service. I've been called to create a new service. The Energy Template Transformation is a 1-hour energy work session that focuses on helping the traditional 7 chakra system collapse so that we can expand into these new 3 main energy centers that I'm seeing emerge through this energy work. It's going to be an hour done over the phone or over Zoom video chat. No in-person appointments for the time being because I'm still in flux and I don't know where I'm going to be. But it doesn't matter, the energy work is still the same. The feedback that I've been getting from my clients who've been receiving the energy work either in one-on-one sessions or in the soul expansion calls has been amazing, and I really feel that it's time to offer this as a standalone session so that people can begin to access it. Basically what it is we're finding the 7 chakra system is collapsing and emerging into 3 separate energy centers within the body, and they all work in tandem with each other, but we're removing the partitions of the energy that flows through the body because the body has changed. We have shifted, and now we're able to hold more light and run higher frequencies of energy, so we don't need the partitions the way that we used to. So check it out on my website. It'll be under the services, and you're going to see also my new rate will be reflected as well. So here we go, jumping into the video, and this is going to be a relatively short one for me. There's really not a lot to talk about in terms of concrete information. It's pretty succinct and compact. The Transformation Template is the new template that, I'm calling this Human 2.0. This is the emergence of the divine human, the galactic human, the expanded human, whatever title that it is that we want to give it. We are finding now, and I am seeing this time and time again in my private sessions and with my own experience in my own life, we have emerged from the fires of healing. The work that we have been going through, especially since 2012, I always use that as a marker for the beginning of this experience because it was such a profound shift, and it was a beginning and an ending of major cycles. We have emerged from these fires of healing, these fires that have basically torn us open, have forced us to go inside, crawling on our hands and knees sometimes, feeling like we are just in the muck and the mire of our experience, really sitting with our pain, with our fears, with our old stories and our programs, and allowing ourselves to move into that shadow work that was so crucial. And I know for many of us, it felt so solitary and it felt like such a period of isolation. And now we are going to begin to emerge from that through March as we move towards the rest of the year. And we are seeing that our own healing has created a template for healing that we now carry with us. And this is not just a template for healing in terms of ways to cope with it and the spiritual tools and ideas and understanding that we have. That is part of it. But it has also now affected the physical vessel and in turn the energy field or the aura that emanates from our bodies, which of course in turn changes the energy field and the aura of the collective and the planet and the galaxy. I mean, again, it's a fractal experience. So one singular experience always mirrors the grander experience. It's all macro and micro. So we have now emerged with a template or a method, and we are finding ourselves being called into service in whatever way it is that we are being called. For some of us, it's powerful shifts, moving from our 9-to-5 corporate job into a spiritually focused practice. For people like myself who have had a spiritual practice for a while now and we've been evolving into it, we are now emerging in a much bigger platform on a much bigger scale. We are emerging as the new leaders for the spiritual transformation of the collective and the planet. And we carry with us this template, but it's more than just the tools. It's more than just the methods of how we cope on a day-to-day. It is an energetic shift in the body. It is an energetic shift in the being. The human is not the same as we have been previously. We are seeing an actual evolution in ourselves and in the vessel that we are responsible for in this lifetime. So we have this energetic template, and not only is this something that we can use as a tool or a model to share with others for their own healing and their own way to begin their journey, right? That's how it works. I go to a spiritual teacher or a mentor or a healer or an intuitive or whatever, and they give me the tools that they know to be true. I then take that information and I use it to begin my own journey, and at some point I discard parts of it. I take on other bits from other teachers and other places, and I begin to create my own template through my own experience. That's what I've been saying since the beginning, is that your spiritual experience is yours. No one can tell you how to be spiritual. No one can tell you what's right or wrong within a spiritual journey, because it's your relationship with the truth of who you are, the expanded infinite being, creator being that you are. So we not only have a way to share with others how to make it through their experience, and we're seeing this next wave of people awakening who are starting to have the experiences that we were having, where it's like, what the fuck just happened? I don't know, but all of a sudden my life is different. We now have that template to share with them. But more importantly, or I would say equally as important, is this is also the template for how we now proceed into the next phase of our lives. And we see that so much of what we do is living through our example. Because it's one thing to sit and talk about it. It's one thing to sit and have a session and read about it and hear about it and discuss it and share it. But it's another thing to sit and watch someone who is putting their money where their mouth is. They're walking the talk, and they are out there saying, look, I don't know necessarily any more than anybody else what is on the other side of the unknown, but I do know that I have to trust this. I do know that a switch has been flipped on. I do know that there's now this light that is burning inside of me, asking for my expression, and how I choose to express myself through my choices, through my actions, through the things that I hold up as true, through my words, through my beliefs. This is my template in action. This is the truth in action. This is knowing that this is where the truth resides. And as long as I am tapped in and tuned into this, and I use this as my point of equilibrium, then I can surf whatever wave comes my way. And when I am standing in that truth, whatever I create will be authentic and honest and will always be guiding me to my highest expression. So how this is happening is the physical body is shifting. The 7-layer chakras, traditional chakras, the root, the sacrum, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown, It is not, that has been a traditional method of sort of a map of how energy moves through the body. When we were in the density of the old human form, we required that. But now that we are expanding, now that our light bodies are beginning to grow and merge, now that we are in union with our higher aspects, our expanded aspects, and we are now understanding the marriage between the human self and the expanded self, we are now seeing that mirrored in the physical body. So the lower three chakras, the root, the sacrum, and the solar plexus, have collapsed and are expanding into what we are calling the center of manifestation. The center two chakras, the heart and the throat, have collapsed and merged and are now expanding into what we are calling the center of expression. And the third eye and the crown have collapsed and have merged and have now been expanded into what we are calling the center for communication and reception. What this means is that the insight we receive, the guidance we receive, our ability to manifest, and the way that we express ourselves, not only in how I show up and speak, but how I express myself through the choices and the actions in my life. When you proceed from knowing the truth of who you are, which is an infinite being having a finite experience, and you live in that truth, it changes everything. It changes everything. And now that the vessel is expanding to mirror and match what we know and what we feel, now it is everything moving in the same direction. You know, I've been talking about this for a while, that the physicality, the vessel, is usually the last thing to catch up because it's dense. That's a lot more moving parts to reform and configure the body and all of the systems that are working within the body. It takes a little bit more time and a little bit more finesse for that to reform itself and for that to recreate itself. And now that it has, we are seeing mind, body, spirit, and the fullness of that as the energy signature, the energy template, the aura, whatever it is that you want to call it. We are now seeing them all moving in this beautiful, amazing new direction. So the way that we communicate and receive, the way that we express ourselves and create and choose, and the things that we manifest and the way that they show up is now happening so much more rapidly, so much more efficiently, and so much more effectively because we are existing out of this lower density, and we're also continuing to see the collapse of time. So as we emerge in this human 2.0, as we emerge and move towards, because March is it, right? We are now being called into action. The second eclipse in February was really, and it was in Pisces, which is the end of the astrological calendar. So we are really seeing this is the astrological new year. We are now seeing that this is when it really starts to begin in earnest. So we are now not just talking about what we are doing, we are moving towards it, and we are being called to put feet on the ground, to begin to move forward physically, and we have arrived. I saw a beautiful image with a client the other day, and she showed me, when I first connected with her and I was reading the energies that I was seeing, she was rowing in a boat like crazy. She was putting in so much effort, and she was just huffing and puffing and sweating. And I was like, why are you working so hard? This just seems to be like back-breaking work. And then she showed me the entirety of the image, and I pulled back in my field of vision and I saw, oh my God, she's in a rowboat, but it's on the shore. She has already arrived. So it's time to get out of the boat and start to explore and discover the new world that you have arrived in. This is it, folks. We are in our new reality. All of the work that we have been doing has brought us to this point, and this is a crucial point in our experience where we are now being called to get out of the boat, to unpack everything that we know, and to put it to use and put it to action on all levels: mental, spiritual, emotional, physical, and energetic. So here's the question. As we move into the unknown, because we don't necessarily always know what it is that we're moving towards, we just have to be willing to show up and trust the guidance that we receive and trust that this is always moving us towards our highest expression. So here's the question. You can't be curious if you already know what's waiting for you. And we talked about this in previous videos for this year, the neutral curiosity idea. So the unknown is what allows us to be curious about our experience and to expand into something new. And if we know that Source is always seeking expansion through experience into the unknown, and if we know that the human experience is really only ever for the growth and evolution of the soul, the expanded self focuses itself through our human experience so that it can grow and expand. Here's the question. If you already know what's waiting for you, then why go? Don't allow the unknown to be the reason that you don't take the chance. Don't allow the not knowing what's on the other side of the unknown to be the reason that you don't jump or make the leap or say the thing or make the shift or whatever. Trust that you are always being called towards your highest expression, and that's what March is all about. It's time. We have arrived. We are at the shore and we are here. So now it's time to get out of the boat, unpack your stuff, and start to create this new world for yourself. And when you lead by the clarity of your example, you have no idea how powerful that is for people who perhaps are still stuck in fear, are still stuck in the illusion, and are still completely unsure of how to untether themselves from so many of the things that keep them twisted and tangled up. And now that we have untethered ourselves from the limitations of the small perspective, now that we're no longer looking at life through just a keyhole, we have pulled back and we see the entirety of it all. And we know the beauty of it is that we're connected to all of it. That is what allows us to move forward with faith and trust that when we get there, we're going to know what's required and we're going to have what's required. So that's it. That's it. This is the transformation template. It's time. We are moving beyond the previous limitations of what was known as the human experience. And that is when transformation begins. We have healed. We have done the work. We have purged. We have released. We have shifted. And now we stand united and integrated with all that we are. And this is when transformation begins. So go to my website, check out the events page. Sign up for the Soul Expansion Series for March. Again, 3 dates, March 5th, 12th, and 19th. It's going to be major. The energy is crazy. It's so much fun for me to do this because the energy that comes through is so massive and so beautiful and so transformational. And then also check out the sessions because I'm going to be offering the Energy Template Transformation as a standalone service if you're ready to move into an accelerated experience. If you're ready to move out of the paradigm of healing and broken and healing and broken, healing and broken, death and rebirth, death and rebirth. Now it is time to transform beyond that. So that's what I'm offering. Thank you as always for watching. I love you. Have an amazing March and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.